भारतीय कैथोलिक युवा संचलन केंद्रिक समिती मंगळूर DIOCESE 2021-22 70 आणि 5व्या वर्षाच्या उघडसाक DIOCESEच्या सर्व युवजनांचे जाणवाई वाढवचे पासोत मांडून हाडटा COLLOQUY म्हणजे कार्यगार वा शिकपासाल. Seeking knowledge is like opening doors, and we know the doors are everywhere. It takes the right eyes to find the door. Are you thirsty for knowledge? It's now time for you to quench your thirst with the fluid called knowledge that will flow in your hearts and minds and will leave an imprint for a lifetime. Personal development is a major time saver. The better you become, the less time it takes you to achieve your goals. Growth is often uncomfortable, messy, and full of feelings you do not even expect. It's now time for you to turn your expectations into reality. Presenting to you all the most eminent international speaker of the day, Professor Joselyn T. Lobo. Professor Jocelyn T. Lobo recently retired as Associate Professor and Dean at School of Social Work, Roshni Nilaya, Mangalore. He has a graduate degree in commerce and a master's degree in social work as well as sociology. Professor Jocelyn has over 3 decades of teaching and training experience. His participatory approach and innovative teaching methods have been highly appreciated by students and trainees. He has conducted hundreds of workshops on effective communication, leadership, team building, personal growth, and related areas all over India and abroad. In order to improve classroom teaching, Professor Jocelyn is now facilitating workshops on teaching effectiveness for school and college teachers. Professor Jocelyn is a certified practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. He is the president and consultant of GRID, Group for Institution Development, a training organization, and presently most of his workshops are facilitated through GRID. Professor Jocelyn is the author of Fieldwork in Social Work Education, a manual for educators and students. His articles and essays have appeared in Encyclopedia of Social Work and in newspapers and journals. Professor Jocelyn was actively involved in the teachers' movement in Karnataka. He is the past president of Association of Mangalore University College Teachers. Formerly, he was an elected member of the Academic Council of Mangalore University. Professor Lobo was a coordinator of the Center for International Partnerships in his college and guided international students during their internship in India. He was a regular visitor to Volda University in Norway and delivered presentations there.
Hello friends, I am addressing you as friends because I know the young people are listening to this presentation. I have been always with the young since I have been teaching in Roshni Nilaya College for the past 3 decades, and I was very friendly with students. Though I just retired last November, students still want me to come and teach them. So in that sense, you are my friends. Young people, youth, students, working young men and women, of course. As you see in the title slide, this is a presentation on personal growth. You can call it personal development also, or personal growth and development. Before going into the intricacies of the presentation, let me start with a simple statement. If you are not growing, you are dying. I repeat, if you are not growing, you are dying. Just reflect on this statement. Are you learning something new every day, or is it just same routine? Do you have any goal in mind? Do you have your dreams, and are you implementing them? Where is your life leading you? Most people carry on with the routine of life. They don't set goals. And sometimes you ask them, why don't you achieve something more? They said, we are satisfied, and they just remain stagnated. So that's the meaning of this statement: if you are not growing, you are dying. Let me tell you what is personal growth. As you can see here, personal growth is about understanding yourself, understanding and developing yourself to your highest potential. What it basically means is you need to be aware of yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and you are developing yourself in all areas of life. So this presentation is going to cover two major aspects: the key areas of life or key areas of personal growth, and what are the strategies for personal growth. So these are the main focus of this presentation. Before we go further, maybe a little examples will help you. Simple example of personal growth is learning a new skill. Whatever may the skill, it may be skill of driving, the skill of learning music, skill of art, any new thing you are learning. Now that we are looking at an example is developing or cultivating an healthy habit. So these are simple examples of personal growth. Now the next slide tells you the importance of personal growth and self-awareness. The most important thing about personal growth is first to be self-aware. I am a trainer and I conduct workshops on personal growth for a full day long, and major part of the workshops or the beginning part of the workshops is nothing but self-awareness. People reflect on their strengths, their weaknesses, what do they like to do and what they don't like to do, what do they love to do, what are they passionate about. When you look at strengths and weaknesses, I have in my hand a simple paper. Now if you touch this paper, if you take any paper normally, now when I touch this paper you have a smooth surface, I feel a smooth surface, and the other side of the paper I feel it's a rough surface. We give this paper to students or our participants in the workshop, and we tell them to write their strengths or positive qualities on the smooth surface, and they list it out. We tell them write more about positive qualities, and then there may be definitely in people some areas of improvement. Sometimes we call it limitations, we call them weaknesses, and we say just write it down. For example, you may get angry, or you are very shy, you are lazy, that could be a weakness. But on the positive side, you may be good in certain talents like music, drawing, sports. You may be a very helping person, you may be a very friendly person, likable person, everybody wants you in their group. Those definitely are positive qualities. So the first step in personal growth is being self-aware, and don't think it's an easy question. Who am I has been a very difficult question. Who am I and why am I here on this earth? What is the purpose of my life? When I was young like you, it was a turmoil, not knowing what to do. I did my BCom in St. Aloysius, and at the end of BCom I realized I don't want to count money or make an accounts. Not that it is bad, but I thought for myself I need to do something different, and I changed my line to social work. I did my master in social work, and I started teaching bachelor's in social work, and there I realized teaching is my vocation, my profession, what I like to do. Teaching and training went by side. So that awareness came at a much later stage. So at your age, you may be still struggling what you want to do. At the first step is to sometimes find out what you don't like to do. Then you are clear, you don't want to do those things. Then you got to look at what areas you like to do. So this is an whole area of self-awareness which you need to look into. Let us move on. Before going into the key areas, I just want to pinpoint certain attitudes mostly young people or anybody has, what we call negative attitudes. These attitudes are being negative. Many people sometimes think negatively, they never think positively. I had an old relative tell us something, she will say in our Konkani language, Maka Zaina. I think Zaina way, but एक प्रयत्न करिए. Always negative. Then there is another attitude is just waiting idly, you do not do anything, hoping that things will happen automatically. Things do not happen. Whiling with time, and today's world, young people, elder people, everybody whiling time with the mobile, checking all the messages, social media. So much of time is gone. I am not saying you do not do it. I am just saying, just reflect how much time you are devoting on social media. Another attitude is, which most people have is the blame game. This is not all right, the people are not all right, my parents are not okay, my friends are not okay, my teacher is not okay, and you keep on blaming people, not reflecting that you yourself may be at fault. So, this blaming others attitude creates a problem, you blame everything. It is like you blame the weather, oh it is raining, you feel bad, or it is too hot. Now, which situation, the weather is the weather, how do you cope up with it? So, stop the blame game. Not following your own success, certain successes you have achieved, definitely the successes are milestones in your life. Look at these success stories in your life. Seeking help, you have a lot of friends who will be happy to help you. You have a goal in mind and you share it with your friends, say I want to do this, definitely friends will help you, family will help you, colleagues or teachers will help you. So, these are the attitudes. What I want to share is sometimes these negative attitudes come in the way of personal growth, where you look at the environment or you say, oh I was born in such and such a place, this is the situation. Now, today you may say the COVID is a situation. Now, COVID is affecting everybody, we can't do anything about it. So, please try to avoid these attitudes which you may be having. Okay, now we move to the most important area, the key areas of personal growth. As I said, the key areas of life, I have listed out 7 major areas of our life, and these areas cover, as I see, the wholeness of life, the fullness of life. First key area is our own self development, what we call personal development, in a broad sense spiritual development. What it means is you need to spend some time reflecting on your life, cultivate some new skills, new hobbies, meditate sometimes, reading, where you are looking at your own personal growth and seeing that you are focusing on your talents, abilities and moving ahead. Definitely God has given you some talents and we need not bury it or leave it stagnant. So, one key area of life is the own personal development, self development. In a broad sense, it is called spiritual growth, where you can withstand the negatives. Spiritual in the sense you are strong enough when there are calamities, tragedies in your life. Another very important area is career. Now, career is divided into education and profession later on. Now, definitely most of you are today studying in the education system, which is now supposed to change with the new education policy. Education is important to finish what you have started, not to be a dropout. Finish your graduation, or if you want to move ahead to post graduation. And what I have listed as training is like, it's just not education sitting in the classroom. What made me grow in Aloysius College is the umpteen activities I was involved in through associations like the ICUF. I think you will be knowing of the ICUF, All India Catholic University Federation. We used to go to the good old Madras for 1 week seminars, unforgettable experiences. I was also part of ICYM, where in our days it was called CYM, Catholic Youth Movement. The training I received with seminars, workshops, camps, unforgettable. The games, the energizes, the fun. And I brought this into my teaching, those activities which I learned, the various methodologies which I was exposed to. So, what I am trying to tell you is, just don't sit in the classroom only. Be involved in college, outside, after classes. In Sundays, my Sundays when I was in my BCom days was every Sunday there was something or the other. Programs, seminars, camps. So once you get training and education, you definitely move to a job. You might have chosen a particular career and profession. Today people change careers, and today the world has, you are exposed to variety of careers in big cities. So things are changing. Traditionally people looked at only engineering, medicine. Today the information technology world gives you terrific opportunities. So this main area, key area, education, job and career is an important area for all of us. Next, what about your family? Are you comfortable in your house with your siblings, your parents? The family can definitely encourage you. Of course, sometimes parents have their old thinking, it depends on the generation. I remember when I was growing, my father who married very late, and he belonged to a different generation. For them, learning typewriter was the most important thing. He said, without typewriter, what are you going to work? And most of the young boys those days used to go to Bombay. Bombay was the dreamland, and typing along with their intermediate, what we call PUC today, was a very important skill. So I told my father, okay, learn sometime, but I don't want to be a typist somewhere. I knew that is important skill, but I said, I'm not going to be a clerk somewhere. I want to do something different. But nevertheless, when I got my first job in Bangalore, I did go to a typing school and learn typing. But I was not interested in the examination and to finish a certificate. I just wanted to get hands-on with the typewriter, and that today is helping me when I'm using my laptop. So what I'm just trying to tell you is the family sees good in you. So sometimes because of the modern generation, you're born into a different world, your ideas may clash with your parents, but just try to listen and see. There could be other relatives, friends who could be of real help to you. Next area, a major area, is health. It is important to be healthy. You all know that definitely. But here when we look at health, we are not just looking at physical health. Physical health, of course, with good food, diet, exercise is there. Some of you may be in sports and definitely healthy bodies. But I am also looking at mental health, emotional health. What about the emotions? Are you able to control yourself? Do you have a peace of mind? With the mind and body are connected. What affects the mind affects the body. If you are in tension, depression, anxiety, definitely it will affect your body. It can create what we call, problems in the stomach, related problems because of too much of worrying. Emotions. Do some exercise. Definitely you are doing some exercise, you may be involved in sports, but today children, like when we finish the school, we should throw the bag and run and play, whether it's cricket or seven tiles or whatever you name it. But today the children just take the mobile. So that doesn't give any exercise. So you need to run around, play around, move around and do physical exercise. And when you eat food, of course you like to eat all this food, what we call junk food, but see that you have a balanced diet of nutritious food also. Don't always think of fast food, which is not good for health in the long run. So be healthy, and an important area of life. Relationships. What is your relationship first with yourself? Do you love yourself? I'll come to that little later. Do you accept yourself? Relations with family, friends, when you're working, relations with colleagues. How good are you? Do people want you? Do they miss you? That is important. Financial aspect. Very important that you have enough of money in your hands. Budget your expenses, don't overspend. keep something for saving. Even if you put a little amount in recurring deposit, or there is what we call SIPs, mutual funds, systematic investment funds. The systematic funds will, you just have to put some, even 500 rupees, it keeps on growing. You just have to give instruction and it will just go away from your account, and that will multiply. So think about saving if you're working, I mean, and even otherwise, if you got some enough extra pocket money, nothing wrong in starting a small recurring deposit. So finance is an important area of life, because you may have everything, and if you don't have the money, then at the end of the day it could create a whole lot of problems. And finally, recreation. I am sure you, at your age, recreation is there in your life. I am also addressing sometimes to adults, and some of them are workaholics, keep on working. They don't take an holiday, they don't travel. Of course, celebrations are there in our country. There will be weddings in the family, there will be events, fine. But are you cultivating an hobby? You may be liking music. Are you traveling? There are people, Mangalore, I remember somebody was having a laundry. It's such a small laundry. He said he wanted to go to Goa, but he said, I can't go, who's going to take care? I mean, you need to sometimes think of possibilities, keep somebody there. Goa is not far off. Certain people, like certain countries, people travel every year. We need to take a break in life, have recreation. So these areas of life, definitely important at your age, but later on in life, things like recreation may become more important, because you may not relax. At the moment, you may be, definitely relaxing. Yeah, so these are the various areas of life which I mentioned. Now, how do we plan how to go about personal growth? You can call it strategies, you can call it tips for growth, whichever way you want to look at it. So I've given you the different areas of life. Now let's look at the way forward. The first strategy which I am mentioning, is to love yourself. So unless you accept yourself, that's very important, to accept yourself. Certain things cannot be changed. So when you look at yourself and like something in you, then you see the other person, you see something nice in other persons. If you have a very low image of yourself, what we call low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is something like driving. When I drive, if I keep the handbrake on, my car doesn't move. So people with low self-esteem carry on with life, but just like the car with the handbrake on doesn't move fast enough. So accept yourself, like yourself, love yourself. This is the most important area, because I met people, sometimes they think they are useless, they are good for nothing, but they look beautiful, they have talents, they seem to have everything, but a low self-image. So the first important thing is accepting and loving yourself. Next, any of my programs, whether it is communication, my workshops, my training, I mentioned reading. Simple thing is, people who can't read, they can't read. You who can read and you don't read, what is the difference? You can read but you don't read. The other person just cannot read. You both remain the same level. And as I given pictures on the slide, you can see the great leaders. They were all people who read and also wrote. Gandhi and Nehru were great readers and writers. So many other successful people read. When I say reading, means at the moment, if you are students, definitely you have a lot to read, and you may be reading a lot on social media. But later on in life, when you finish your education, are you reading something important? Books of self-improvement. I can just show you one simple book. I hope you can see this properly. This is, you may be knowing this person, Shiv Khera. Shiv Khera is an Indian who had come even to Mangalore some time back, and I have listened to his motivational talk. So You Can Win is a bestseller. It's a very simple book. Books like these. So what I have done is every month I pick up a book. Now I may be busy. When I was in college, I used to take the book to the canteen, and if nobody is there, along with tea after the class, I used to read 1 or 2 pages. What I mean is just spend some 5 to minutes. How much time it needs to read a page or two? It's like brushing your teeth. Don't you brush your teeth every day? Same way, if you make it an habit to read something every day, you will finish at least half the book by the end of the month. Just yesterday, I finished a book which I started this month, October. There are some other books which I have started which are quite thick, which I have yet to finish. But what I am saying is cultivate a daily habit of reading, which will definitely help you in the long run. As I mentioned, as an area of growth, be healthy. Mindfulness, they say be aware. Have a balanced diet. Eat proper food. Don't overdo things. Don't be addicted. Today's addictions are also different. It may not be drugs and alcoholic. It's also the internet addiction is also there. So being healthy would mean not overdoing things, not overeating or drinking, having proper exercise, focusing on life, having both mental health and physical health, a balanced, healthy being. Next, as I mentioned, key area relationships. If you look at the slide and we look properly, my photo is also there with a group of Japanese students. When in college Roshni, I was in charge of international partnerships, and we used to get students from Norway, USA, Belgium, Japan. I used to coordinate their visits and their field placements here. So I am still in touch with them, some of them, and whole network of friends who were here. Since I was born in Mangalore, my childhood friends are here. Some went abroad and now back here. Relationship, keeping in touch with them, because we need a network of people for your growth. You tell your dreams, share your goals to people. They'll say, okay, I got this idea, why don't you try this? For example, you want to learn some new skill, and definitely your friends may know a proper institute for it, or somebody else will know. So build that network, build relationships to go ahead in life. Be creative. Now, I think all of you can see there is a simple mug here. What are the different ways you can use this mug? Obviously, you can drink something, but other than the other ways, what are the different ways? Recently, in a session in Belmont for young children, YCS, Icym, asked them this question, and I was amazed with the answers. Some of them, the whole group brought about 25 answers, some of them reasonable 15. So I asked them to read, of course, the children, so they didn't grasp. They said drinking coffee, tea, juice, milk as different items. Basically, what I meant was drinking should be one item. What else can it be used? I am sure some of you have this mug kept in the showcase. So definitely one uses keeping in the showcase. I also use it as a pen stand, keeping all my pens and pencils. There are various other ways. So if after the presentation, maybe you can just think over what are the ways you can use a mug. Creativity, that's what I am trying to stress on. Do things differently. The Shiv Khera's statement here, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Basically, what we need to do is think of different ways of doing things. I was a teacher, college lecturer, but I never lectured all the time. You ask any of my students, I taught differently. I brought visuals, I brought music, activities, games. You ask any student and ask them, how was my class? They'll say, Jocelyn sir's class was the most interesting. We never used to sleep. It was all activity oriented. Because I thought teaching should not be, one way lecture or chalk and talk. It should be different ways of doing things. Only in this pandemic situation, I had to do Google Meet at the end of my career, which I could not do much activities. Next area is never give up, persistence. You can see the picture of Thomas Alva Edison. And you may knowing the famous story, the bulb story. To create the bulb, it is said it tried 1,000 different elements. Nothing worked. And somebody said, such a waste of time. He said, no, even if I don't succeed, the next person who wants to make a bulb will not use these 1,000 items. But he never gave up. And he created a whole lot of things which we are grateful of. The bulb, the gramophone, and a whole lot of things. And mind you, he was considered stupid in school and sent out from the school, and his mother who supported him. And when he died, the whole of America switched off the lights for 1 hour as a tribute to the man who created the bulb. The idea here is he never gave up. Persistence, the most important area, an important strategy. Being passionate. Now, being passionate depends on which area to be passionate. That's why I said important is to be self-aware. What do you like to do? What do you love to do? And if you do what you love to do, there is no difference between work and play. For example, I told you I left my BCom because I realized I am not going to do counting of accounts, though I was good at it. I was not good in mathematics, but I was good in accounts because the principles I could understand. I like to teach, and I definitely wouldn't mind going back to classroom and teaching. I love to train, so I'm now focusing on training. I like to write, and I'm writing. Recently, 2 weeks back, Deccan published my articles. So I'm passionate about certain things, and I'm doing. So you need to first identify what are you passionate about. That is what is important at your age, to understand what are you capable, what are your talents, what you like to do. So once you identify, be passionate about it, and then you will enjoy life. Next strategy, learn something every day. What we call lifelong learning today, continuous learning today. Early learning was thought to be starting with school and ending with college. So remember, learning starts in the womb. When the child is in the womb of the mother, it has already picked up certain things. Or another way of putting it, from the womb to the tomb, or from the cradle to the grave, we are learning all the time. Now, most people think that learning is okay, I finished with degree, my college gave enough. The different ways of learning today, online learning courses, virtual university, you can go for training programs, there are short-term courses, different areas. I remember sometimes there was the French embassy here in Mangalore wanted to have cake making. It may be gardening, some craft, so many areas of courses and programs are there in cities or in online. So your motto should be never stop learning, or at least take a book and read. If you don't learn, you remain stagnant. And so the important area of life is learning, and today's world, which is changing with our technology, it's important that we continue learning throughout our lives. I might have retired, but still I am planning to attend some special courses in Bangalore whenever I get the time. As I mentioned, managing time is very important. Simple way of doing things is like my notepad, listing out things, what is to be done for a day or a week. The best way I have found is on a Sunday when you relax, or the weekend, just list out, plan what you want to do for that week. Many of the successful people, or even success books, self-improvement books, mention that. Just plan it for a week, make a list of things to do, work on them. Those are short-term things, short-term goals you have. So time is a resource, important resource. So if you look at things and systematically plan them, you can definitely accomplish more than what you wanted to do. Finally, the last strategy is set goals. Very important to set goals and even to write them out. Now, what is a goal? The difference between goals and dreams. Now, we can dream definitely. you need to have what they call SMART goals. As I mentioned there, SMART refers to specific, measurable and achievable, realistic, time bound. Now, let me give you examples. So, if you say I want to learn music, but is it a SMART goal? It is not SMART. Music, you are very vague, very general. But if you say I want to learn the violin or the guitar in the next 6 months, then it comes closer to the formula of SMART goals, because you are being specific. You are saying guitar or violin. Time bound, you are saying 6 months. It is measurable. After 6 months, people will know that you have learnt it. Achievable, definitely you can. Is it realistic? Yes. There are institutes, you are not in some forest, there are institutes where you can teach. Here in Mangalore, there is Sandesha. So, in different areas, let your goals be SMART, be specific and clear. Now, for example, someone says, I want to learn English, I want to learn Kannada. It's become very vague and general. But if you put it as a goal, SMART goal, you can say, I will learn one new English word a day, or now one new Kannada word a day. Then it becomes a SMART goal. So, when I say goals, means be specific, clear what you want to do. You want to learn driving, be clear, okay, the next 2 months you go to driving school, learn the skill of driving. And some of you girls who yet to learn a two-wheeler, if you do not know the balance, take the bicycle and learn the balance, then you can drive any two-wheelers. Be specific, be clear, let the goals be SMART. So, these are the various strategies, and to wind up, I would like to mention what we call personal growth plan. You need to have a personal growth plan where you look at your own life and plan it ahead in all the key areas which I mentioned earlier. Areas of finance, areas of education, career, healthy lifestyle. So, the various areas of life we need to have a personal growth plan. Now, there are different areas, but you may find it difficult at the moment. So, you can start with a very small little idea, which I say is cultivate one healthy habit. Now, if you know the idea behind habits, if you do something continuously for 3 weeks, 21 days, that will become an habit. Habits are what goes into the unconscious mind. It is like when you get up in the morning, you are not planning, okay, I have to brush my teeth. It's automatically you take the brush. Somebody told me that when you get up, the first thing to do is drink a glass or two of water. So, I started drinking a glass of water. Then my traditional homeopathic doctor friend told me that since I have stomach sometimes problems, eat 2 garlic, 2 small pieces of garlic. So, what I have done is with the water I eat this garlic, and for the next half an hour I do not brush my teeth. You will have to keep a gap. That has become an habit in the morning, that automatically when I get up, I go and pick up my tumbler, fill it with water, I go to the kitchen for the garlic. An healthy habit which came in has gone into the unconscious mind. So, it is possible to take small little things and develop yourself. It will automatically be, as I said, reading. When somehow I remember I have to read, I have not done my reading. 5 minutes, 10 minutes or 2 pages a day, it will mean half the book in the month. And just imagine in the whole year how much books you would have read. By the way, as I speak of books, I would like to show you another book, by another Indian, Robin Sharma, another bestseller. They are going to make it into a movie. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It is like a fable, a very interesting book. It is available in any of the bookshops here or in the library. Then discard unhealthy habits. You may be getting up late, you may be lazing around too much with internet or anything like that. So, if you have something which is coming in the way of personal growth, discard an habit, unhealthy habit. So, after the presentation, if you like it or not and you want to implement it, there is no point in just listening to a presentation, you need to implement some of the ideas. So, I am just giving you simple things: cultivate an healthy habit, discard an unhealthy habit, and finally learn a new skill, whatever you like to learn, put it to practice, it's possible. Now, these are your growth plans, your goals. You have the goal, be very specific, think about 6 months or long term goals like finishing education degree, which may need 3 years. But small things, write them down or at least have it in your mind and look at the action plan, the implementation. It's not important just to have a goal, but look at how to implement it. So, new skill, what do you want to learn? You want to learn a musical instrument, you want to learn driving, what is the next step? If you do not have balance cycle, basically take a cycle, that is not a big thing. Learn the skill and then you can go to the scooter instead of going to the scooter and putting it down. Simple things like that. So, what I would be happy is that think of cultivating at least one simple healthy habit, discard if there are any unhealthy habits you have, and learn at least one skill for the time being. Before I wind up, maybe another book, an international bestseller, Walter Staples, In Search of Your True Self. These are all good books for reading, self-improvement books. A whole lot of books are there of self-improvement. You Google and search, and today you can even get them free, download them free. Okay, so I have mostly come to the end of my presentation. Just one last slide to mention that growth is something attractive. It is something like this: the bud becomes a flower, it needs nurturing. So, when you grow, you are like young buds, and as a teacher I used to always tell my students, my classes are not meant to finish the syllabus only, my classes are not for information only, my classes will be for your development and your growth and for formation. So, thank you for listening. I hope you like this presentation, but please try to implement simple things what I have mentioned. And if you would like to be part of a workshop, Father and me are planning for workshops on soft skills for employability, or workshops on personal growth and development, workshops on communication. I now do programs through an organization called GRID, Group for Institution Development, which was in Bangalore. It has now come under my care about 10 years ago, but I was busy in college, and now after retirement I am focusing more on GRID, and I am now doing workshops through GRID. So, if you want to learn more, you can contact me, and ICYM we are planning for full day workshops of activity oriented workshops. Thank you once again. Thank you to Father Ashwin for giving me this opportunity to present my views in this ICYM series of sessions.